Your older struggling reader isn't defiant. They're protecting themselves. And until we understand what they're protecting themselves from, even good intervention can miss the real problem. In other words, your intervention won't work. By 4th, 5th, 6th grade, struggling readers already know they're behind. They know who reads faster. They know who gets called on with confidence. They know when a text feels easy for everyone else, but impossible for them. So they learn how to hide it. They act bored. They rush through the work. They crack jokes. They say the assignment is dumb. They refuse to read aloud. But that's not resistance. That's self-preservation. Here's the mistake we make. We assume resistance means they don't care. But most struggling older readers care deeply. They just don't want to fail in front of their peers. Again. They don't want materials that scream baby book. They don't want to be reminded, again, that reading is hard for them, so they shut down. Not because they've given up, because they're exhausted from trying without the right tools. So what actually works? First, make the work age-respectful. Older readers need support that feels mature. The text can be accessible without being babyish. The practice can be structured without being watered down. The lesson can be supportive without making students feel small. That's non-negotiable. Second, reduce public embarrassment. Stop cold calling struggling readers. Avoid putting struggling readers on the spot with cold reading before they've had support. Model first. Read together. Practice in short sections, then let students read independently. Confidence grows when students know what successful reading sounds like before they're asked to perform. Third, give them a strategy, not just another assignment. If a student keeps guessing at big words, they need word-solving tools, prefixes, suffixes, roots, base words, meaning clues. If a student reads word by word, they need phrase reading practice. They need to learn how to group words, pause with purpose, and read for meaning, not just speed, meaning. This is exactly why we created the Older Readers Intervention Bundle. It includes Word Power for older readers, which builds decoding, morphology, vocabulary, and academic word-solving skills. Fluency support for older readers, which develops phrase reading, accuracy, expression, and comprehension. Together, they give older struggling readers the tools they actually need, without the babyish materials that make them shut down. Fourth, give them visible wins. Students who've struggled for years need to feel progress quickly. That doesn't mean the work should be easy. It means the work should be clear enough for students to experience success. A student who breaks down one big word, win. A student who rereads one sentence with better phrasing, win. A student who explains what changed in a passage, win. Those small wins matter because confidence isn't built through cheerleading. It's built through evidence. Students start thinking, I can do this. I understand more than I thought. I'm actually getting better. That's when resistance begins to soften, not because you convinced them to try harder, because you gave them tools that actually work. So here's the practical takeaway. When an older reader resists intervention, stop asking, why won't this student try? Start asking, does this work protect their dignity? Does it feel age-respectful? Do they know what strategy to use? Is there a safe way to practice before performing? Can they experience a real win today? Those questions change everything. Older readers don't need intervention that makes them feel younger. They need support that makes them feel capable. They need structure. They need strategy. They need practice that connects to meaning. And they need adults who understand that resistance is often not the opposite of caring. Sometimes resistance is a student saying, I don't want to fail again. If you want ready-to-use tools designed specifically for older struggling readers, visit our Teachers Pay Teachers store. You'll find the Older Readers Intervention Bundle there, Word Power for older readers, and Fluency support for older readers. Store link is on screen and in the description. And if this kind of literacy support matters to you, subscribe to this channel for more practical literacy tools, classroom games, science resources, and intervention strategies designed to help students grow.